Happy Thursday. Okay, so this week, what I'm really focusing on is really just the deciding and then committing to that decision. So, the example of the best example that I've used so far this week, I think, is just when I first really decided to basically better my life. Um, I was so overwhelmed, that high anxiety, high stress, just surviving every day, and really just like sun up to sundown, you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off, never catching up on the lists. And I remember just sitting on the edge of my bed and thinking like, there's got to be a better way. And in that moment, and maybe I had more of these moments in the past. I don't really remember. I just remember this moment staring at the wall. You know how we just get that blank stare and thinking, yeah, like this can't just be it. Like this just can't be life. Just like this every single day till the end of time. Like that's not living. There's no enjoyment. Like this is just not how it's supposed to be. And so in that moment, I just decided I had enough. Um, and I just decided I'm going to do something. I had no idea what it was I was going to do. I had no idea how I was going to do it. I just decided that I was going to make a change. And it was just this like, I don't know how to properly describe it. Obviously, for every person, like all of our descriptions, our language, the words we use, and the meanings we have to them, they all vary from person to person. Like one person's idea or description of determination might be a little bit different from another, or things like that. Like I can't think of a very good word right now, but it's kind of like I remember asking people, okay, what is your definition, or how do you think about this word? Like, are we using the same word in the same terms, type thing? Oh, that's a good one. Like feminism, that's a really good one. So I do consider myself a feminist, but my definition of feminism is just simply treat me equally as anyone else, as any other human being. Like, don't disregard me because I'm female. Give me a chance. That's my idea of feminism. Not that I should be above and beyond. Not that I get extra. Not that you manners go out the window. I've heard this new age feminism where someone holding the door open for you is taking away your power, and I just personally think that's all nonsense. That is just called having manners and keeping the door open for another human being. It has nothing to do with your gender or anything about who you are. It's just being a polite human being. So that is like a definition of, when I say feminist, this is what I mean. Or, like boundaries. When I talk about boundaries, I mean healthy, productive boundaries that enhance your life. Not, some people think of boundaries as in this safeguarding, exclusionary. It's, we can all put different meanings, different stories to words. So I'm going to try and explain this the best I can for the words of how I mean it. So in that moment, um, the best way I can describe my decision making was just this determination with conviction. Like it's just kind of like almost like the hammer came down, um, just something so like permanent. Like I decided I was making a change. That was that. It was like, if you've ever heard, if you're a business person and you've ever heard like burning your boats, where it's like now you're just committed. You quit your job, you're all in your business, and there's no turning back. It was kind of that sort of like determined commitment, where it was just like, I've decided that door is closed behind me. I've burned the door, I've cemented it, I've blown it up. Like there is no door, there's no going back. So that's kind of like this determined conviction that I had decided. And it's funny because I have since learned in all my coaching, getting into this world, all my education and stuff like that, and watching all these other gurus and stuff. Um, I talked before about routine, and that is something in common all successful people do is they have routines in their life. And another secret that all success, I don't know if it's a secret or not, but all successful people have in their life is they are quick decision makers, and they very rarely, pretty much never change their mind. They decide, they commit, it's done. And it's funny because I totally understand that mentality now, looking back, and just like I decided, I committed, it was done. And that's what we really want to embrace going forward. And that doesn't mean like literally every decision in our life for everything like has to be super fast. You're in the restaurant, you have 5 seconds to decide, there's no turning back. Like it doesn't have to be like that. It's just those big events, those big, like, is this going to help you? Is this going to push you forward? Is this going to make your life better? You know, and it's obviously in my example, like, I want to apply this to bettering your life. And that's like, again, in my case, literally my entire journey. I don't talk about a ton, but we did make the move to Mexico, having a much more laid back lifestyle, all of these things. And this is all part of my journey of overcoming my overwhelm. And I could have never made the move to Mexico if I was still in that state. I would have just lost my mind, and all of it. So literally everything leading today, I can attribute to making that one solid, determined, committed decision to better my life. That started everything. And I just want you to understand how incredibly big, how incredibly important some of these decisions can be for you. And it just, in that moment, like, I would have never guessed that this is where that decision would have led me. But it's like it got the ball rolling. All of a sudden, you're snowballing. And then, the better your life gets, the happier you get, the more in this positive mindset, and you're just loving and enjoying everything. The more you want to do it, the more, the results you get, the happier, blah, blah, enjoyment, loving life, the more you want to do it. And it just keeps that positive feedback loop, and you just do more, and you get more, and you do more. It's just really, really wonderful. So this is one of those, and I'm thinking back again for you guys who you're in that position where you're just exhausted, and you need to make a change. You don't even have to know what it has to be. You just have to have that determination and just decide, I'm going to do something better for my life. I'm making myself better, period. And then figure it out. It's like, I've talked about self-care before, where, if you wish you had more self-care in your life, you just need to decide to do it. You need to decide that it's going to happen. You need to make it that priority. And I've used this example before. I'll use it again because it really does apply. Like, people just, oh, it would be so nice, but I can't. I don't have time, blah, 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 whatever. But really, we get sick. Let's say you get the flu. You're in bed for 2 or 3 days. You literally can't get out of bed. You can't do anything. Like, life stops. And you just accept this because literally you can't get out of bed. You need to get better before you can go and do stuff. And that's fine. And it's funny because when we think of when we're sick and then we finally get out of bed, everything, that list, all the things we have to do, they're all still there, right? Like, it's all still there waiting for us. And we have that saying every once in a while when we choose to use it. Oh, it'll be there when I get home. It'll be there when we get back. That is very true. And so really, if you want to take 15, 20, 30 minutes every day for yourself to get that self-care in there, everything else is still there, right? It doesn't seem in that moment when you haven't decided to commit to it, it doesn't seem possible, but it really truly is. Or if you just want to, like, have an hour to yourself on the weekend and get some more self-care in, maybe that's your starting point. You just put it in the schedule, you commit to it, and you schedule everything else around it, because everything else will be there always, right? Like it's like being sick. It'll be there when you're well, and it'll all be there for you to do. So taking that hour and committing to bettering yourself, you can schedule everything else around it. It's still going to be there. But this is the beautiful part. And I know I've heard this from one of my clients, loves saying this to me. I don't believe you. She makes me laugh now so often, because every single time it is always followed a week or two later with, okay, yes, you're right. So I do love it. But I know that you're sitting there saying, I don't believe you. I can't make this work. But when you start giving yourself that self-care, when you start refilling your tank and allowing yourself to rest, all of, getting rid of some of the stress, the anxiety, the brain fog starts going away. We start being able to think properly. We start being able to make decisions better because we're feeling better ourselves. And when we do that, we become more productive and efficient. And in doing that, making better choices, we actually free up a lot of time we are wasting. And we're not wasting the time on purpose. A lot of the time we waste, we don't even know we're wasting, or we cannot help but waste it. Like, walking into the same room 4, 5, 6 times, forgetting why we went there every time. In the end, it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's 10, 15 minutes we've wasted. Now we get frustrated. Now we get in our head. Now we're still not thinking properly. We're not being efficient. We're not being as productive as we could, because now we're super frustrated about going into the same stupid room 5 times. That's also eating away a lot of time. And it's all these places we don't realize we're wasting it when we start giving ourselves that self-care and we start feeling better and we gain some mental clarity back. We gain that time back. So in that little 1 hour a week that you don't think you have time for, you're probably going to gain, I'm going to say, a minimum of 20 minutes every single day times 7 days a week. You've gained back way more than an hour. And think about when you apply that, how much more can I do? How can I make this even better? And it compounds on itself. It really is fantastic. And again, I'm hearing people out there already, I don't believe you. That's fine. Give it a try, or, talk to people that have done it or something, because I can tell you, again, from personal experience, that's why I promote this stuff. That's why I share it with people, because this is literally what worked for me. This is literally the tools I used to get over my overwhelm, to get rid of my anxiety, to know what to do and to really minimize my stress, to create a healthy work-life balance for myself that I was really happy with. And therefore I was happy with my life. And therefore I actually enjoyed pretty much everything. That's where it leads to, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like I'm done my journey. I'm not saying I'm the guru by any means. I'm just saying that it is possible doing these things, because literally I've done it. That's how I did it. And it all starts with being able to make that choice, to decide and then commit to it. No takesy backsies, no changing your mind later. And that again, like, and I hate to have those hard truths put out there, but people who do not succeed in life are people who cannot make a decision, or they make a decision and they second guess themselves days on end, and they end up not actually deciding because they're so busy second guessing themselves endlessly that they make 200 decisions, which is no decision at all, right? So that's where you just need to buck up, decide, that determined conviction, commit to it, and that's it. And this is one of those, like, why do we second guess ourselves? Why do we go back on our decisions? Because we're scared, because it's scary. But when we know we're making a decision that betters our life, when we know it's something that's good for us deep down, and our instinct never steers us wrong. So you think like, yes, this is what I need. And then you decide, and then you get scared and you're like, whoa, but, that tells you you're on the right path. That tells you it's the right choice. Something scary is scary because it's taking you out of your comfort zone, and going out of our comfort zone is how we grow. Because if we're in our comfort zone, we're literally not changing. Like, we literally cannot change anything. That's why it's a comfort zone, because everything is the same and it's what we're used to and it's what we do always. That's why it's the comfort zone, right? So by a decision taking us out of the comfort zone, making us nervous, making us a bit scared, it's a good thing. And I don't want to say, like, again, I'm not talking about extreme things like I'm going bungee, no, I wasn't bungee jumping, skydiving, or like, like legit things that are maybe life endangering. I'm not talking about that kind of fear. Just the fear of the unknown, like, oh my God, maybe I'm going to, for myself, most of my fears have been investing in myself with maybe a new mentor or a new coach or something. And you're just like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. Like, but then I'm like, my instinct, can this person help me? Yes. Is this going to make my life better? Yes. And you just got to punch through. And I've always made that choice, and I hire them, and it always pays off, and I always grow, and I'm always better on the other side of it. But it's just like committing, deciding, doing, and knowing that it's right for you. And just like, is this going to help me? Yes. Okay. Punch through that fear. Is this going to make my life better? Like for example, setting a healthy boundary of, I don't work past 6, 7, 8 p.m., whatever it might be. Is that going to make my life better? Yes. Having a healthy boundary on, separating work from home, having that divide where no work happens after this time. I'm spending it with my family. I'm doing self-care, whatever it might be. Is that going to help you? Yes, of course it is. That's a healthy work-life balance. That is creating space for yourself, for your friends, family, to get stuff done around the house, whatever you choose to do at that time. Is it scary? And you think, well, what if my clients get mad at me for not responding? What if my boss gets mad at me for not, working when I'm not being paid? What if, like, these are all silly questions. And I will tell you from personal experience, when I started putting my phone away, like literally in another room, and clients would text me at 9 o'clock, whatever, 10 o'clock, I would text them back the next day. Literally never, ever once was anyone upset about me texting them the next day. And in fact, even if there was a couple times where it was like 8 or 8:30 or something, maybe even 9 o'clock, and I would text them back, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't think you texted me back so late. Thank you. People don't really expect you to respond off work hours. What it is these are people, and I do this myself, where I think of texting people, replying to people, emailing people when I'm not working, because that's when I'm thinking about me, my personal life, and things I might want to do. Off hours, late at night, send that out. I'm not expecting a response. I respect other people's work hours, other people's work boundaries, and I don't expect people to get back to me at 10 o'clock at night. That is just an unrealistic expectation. And I'm sorry to say, if you're that person that expects a response like past 9 p.m., I'm going to say, you need to check yourself. People have families, people need to go to bed. People should, and hopefully do, have proper work life boundaries. And that includes not working as they're going to bed or trying to relax in the evening, right? And like I said, in all my years, 14 years of being, a massage therapist, never once. I'm going to say, okay, maybe one time someone expected a response late at night and I didn't. And, the next day I said to myself, I'm like, great, I don't need a client who isn't going to respect my boundaries. That is someone I don't want in my life. And it's not worth the extra tiddlywinks they would have brought in. I have more than enough great clients who are going to refer other great people who are going to respect my boundaries. Simple as that. There is a point where you need to decide. Some people, and I know you guys have known this, whether you acknowledge it or not, you've had in your life people that are not worth the money. They're not worth the time because they're such pains in your butt. You're just like, oh my God, I do not need a client like this. You're right, you don't. Because they are in the end going to cost you more than you make from them. Whether it's your mental health, your sanity, your literal time. My mom's a travel agent, and there have been clients of hers where they keep changing their mind. They want her to look up these 4 cruises, then these 5 land packages, then this over there, then this over there. She has spent hours and hours and hours. At the end of the day, by the time they finally book, they just weren't worth the number of hours she put in to researching for them. They are terrible clients. I was like, Mom, you need to pass these off. They are not worth whatever commission you're getting, is not worth it. And she was like so stressed, and she would pick up her phone and immediately you could just see the stress come over her because it was these crazy people and whatever it was, right? So you really need to draw those lines and know that, and they're a small percentage, they're 1 or 2% of the population that are just so high maintenance. Leave it to somebody else to deal with. It is not worth the stress they're going to bring you, right? And that is another thing where you just need, even that example is a great example of decide you don't need clients like that. Decide you're going to pass these people off. Commit to it. Don't even look back. It's done. It's over. Carry on with your life and smile that you just got rid of some stress, right? And this is everything. I say it with everything, guys. It's just that simple. And again, not to say it's the easiest thing in the world. I don't want to pretend. For some people, this might be super easy. For some people, this might be super difficult. If you've never really committed to a decision the first go around, this might be really, really hard and invoke a lot of fear. And you might have a tough time with it, and that's okay. And when you bust through the fear and you do commit to a decision, really celebrate that and know you did a very hard thing. And that is awesome, right? So, because again, no celebration is too small. And especially when you do something that's very difficult for yourself, all the more reason to really, really, really celebrate and really, really just pat yourself on the back and know, like, I did that. And that also inspires you for another tough decision or maybe another tough habit to be like, I can do this. Look what I've done already. I got this. All right, guys, that was my big thing for today, is really just let's all start. Is this good for me? Is this going to help me? Listen to your gut. Really decide. Commit to it. Determined conviction in that decision. Commit. It's done. Door is closed. We're not turning back. We're not second guessing, and just moving forward. Right? Let's be part of that successful crowd that decides and commits to it and never looks back. All right, guys, I'll say have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Obviously, tomorrow's Friday. It's the weekend. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Oh, one more thing, guys. I keep forgetting about this. If you are, my goodness, this is like my 19th or 20th live going on here. So if you're following me, if you followed me this far, if you are looking for something extra, you're not really ready to commit to something big, but you know, like, hey, I think this is going to work. I'm having a little difficulty doing it myself. I just want to tell you guys about a Facebook group I have. It is $9.97 Canadian a month. So I'm less than Netflix. It's a subscription to come on. I have weekly support chats. You can just go in there and get I don't want to say free help because you're paying for it, but get that extra help without committing to a program, without having to sign up to some big to do. If you're not ready for that yet and you're just like, I just need a little extra support, I just want to implement this one thing, but I am having difficulty, I do have that Facebook group. If you are not a Facebook person, I understand that. I actually just signed up with a new platform. I'm super excited. They have a community group, and same deal, $9.97 a month, but you don't have to deal with Facebook. It's going to be the same, because my weekly support chats are all on Google Meets, so you can join, and it'll be a combined meet for all people, so you can get everyone else's perspective, or if you don't have a question, they have a question. I have had this myself, guys. in a weekly support chat for my mentor, someone asks a question and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I do have that problem. I didn't realize it. I forgot about it, but yes, this is going to help me. So that is also a huge benefit to having group calls where if you're not brave enough to ask a question yourself, or there's something you struggle with and you just kind of forgot or didn't realize, someone else's question might really, really help you. Super good value. And like I said, a community just to support, get questions asked, get a little extra help, and also see a little bit more what I'm about, I guess, if you haven't seen enough yet. So I just want to throw that out there. I'll put the link in in the description for this video. And yeah, as usual, I'm getting better at remembering this. Subscribe, click the like, send someone else the link, tell them to subscribe, and yeah, all the thumbs up help. So give me that thumbs up and have a wonderful, wonderful